Hi, I'm Holly Hart, and welcome to our very first Manifesto Radio. Today our guest is Jules, co-founder and the COO of Wistaverse. How are you doing today?
Hey Holly,
Hi.
I'm very good. Big pleasure to be doing the very first Manifesto Radio. So thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome. We're excited to do this first Q&A and learn more about Wistaverse. So Wistaverse was our 99th Cult DAO proposal, and it was brought forward by two Cult DAO guardians, Matt Arloop and Name Taken. So Jules, can you tell me a little bit about Wistaverse and how it came about?
Yeah, so Wistaverse is a project that we've been working on since 2 years with the team. We're building the first metaverse that's dedicated 100% to protest and social actions. And the idea is to unite the world globally around the causes they support and to offer a true alternative to people who can't make it to the streets when there's a protest happening. But it's wider than that. It's making sure that the concept of protest is decentralized, to make sure that countries who don't have access to protest can come in a safe and neutral place without data collection, that they can attend anonymously. To have a voice and to participate. And so we're building the platform. It's been a big vortex. It's been a beautiful adventure. We've had lots of people working with us on it now. And we're building it really to answer the needs of a protest. And so what are those needs? So a protest is before everything a social event where people get together and support a cause or have something to say. And starting this project, we realized, doing a bit of research, that the vast majority of people, when there's a protest, just cannot make it. It's usually in a big city. People just can't take a train or can't take a day off work, and some people just are too old and that's for countries who actually can protest. The attendance is minimum as opposed to the amount of people who wanted to participate. And today they have no alternative to participate in the event. There's nothing available to them. Maybe not live stream somewhere on YouTube in bad quality, or just going to Twitter to check out what's happening. And so what we want to do is to be able to connect all those people globally who support the cause at the same time as the protest together, and give them a place where they'll have an avatar and they can enter and meet their peers. And inside it, there's going to be multi-functionalities.
That's a really novel idea.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy, because now we've been talking about it, and it's no one has done it, and it's the first time that something like that is being done. And that's why, as well, it's a big pressure on us to really deliver something that's great, that's safe, that's apolitical, to make it functional, so really what we do is we build it as a public good. You know that word, cult is a public good. We're making sure the platform, the protocol is safe, and that people, can really trust the platform to use it. And inside the protest, so what we're doing is we're putting on-chain voting for communities to be able to organize their action, to be able to decide on what concrete action can be done beyond this, where do the funds go to, what cause do we support financially. There will be donations as well inside the protests in our native token, Wista. There will be educational content where people can have access to the content directly from the organizers and from the people at the heart of the cause. And there will be a march where people, so we're creating a whole world right now that we're starting in the sandbox. And the first events are going to be in Q1 2023. So hopefully from late January, there will be protests in the metaverse.
What?
We already have multiple workshops talking to activists and organizers. And that's pretty much, I hope I answer it well, but that's pretty much what we're building.
Well, and I love how it's so inclusive, so that people who aren't able to attend in person are still able to get involved and make their voice heard. So that's a very, very original idea that you guys have had.
But that's what we saw with the idea of the metaverse. What is it? It's a place that's fully immersive, where you are surrounded with other people that you can interact with. So that's going to be a new experience for all of us. And if there's one thing that we need to inject at the DNA of the open metaverse that everyone is building on right now, is true social projects. So a project with a vision, a project made for people, tools that can actually be used to help make a difference. And with Wistaverse, we're not aiming to replace the idea of protesting. We invite people to do it, go to the street when you can, but we know that there will be a vast majority of people that won't do it. And for those one, in one click, you can be in a live event, connected to what's happening in the street. You'll have projections of live streams of footage from the street. The data at the end of it will be published, so people will know how many people participated, how many funds have been raised. So I think at the end of it, you'll come out feeling like you've been in an event. You know, you will have met people, you will have connected, you will have heard guest speakers coming to talk about the cause. You will have, arguably, I think you could have more of a voice doing it that way, because it will be an official protest from the same team that organized the one in the street. But we'll encourage them to really make sure there's topics that the community can vote on or talk about, and decide. So in this way, what we don't have nowadays is the idea that the organizers, they organize it, people show up in the street and they're kind of lost in a crowd, which is beautiful. And we need that to happen to show the government or what people are protesting against, the weight of that. But it's very important for me to include the rest of society. And right now there's nothing. So we're building, and we're not sleeping much and giving it all, and really trying to make sure that what we build will be used and properly and can have a true purpose,
Well, and speaking of protests, in the manifesto, that is what Mr. Omodulus was talking about in the Cult Manifesto, about losing our freedoms and censorship, and that we need to fight back. So I wanted to just share a little video clip that we had that, kind of talks about that idea.
Censorship, power, security of familiar, the tranquility of repetition, and also afraid of war, terror, and disease. They promise you order, they promise you peace, and all they demand in return was your silent, obedient consent. But can we change that? Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. We want to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They're perspectives. If you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you were sick as I sick, then I ask you to stand beside me, beside one another, and not wait, but take back our future.
So I think that we are both really trying to do the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that resonated massively with us when we discovered CultDAO. Was this idea that there are people out there just like us who are trying to build tools to empower people, trying to get people to realize they can have a voice, and I think that's what Mr. Omodulus did great, is that his manifesto was like a scream from the soul, and it resonated with so many people. And us included. So it was for us natural and completely amazing to be able to approach CultDAO with a project like that, to say, hey guys, we massively love what you do.
And so speaking of approaching the DAO, how did you guys actually find us?
So I heard of Cult very early on, like early March, through a friend of mine who was like, dude, check this out. And I went down the rabbit hole. I thought the project was completely brilliant, and early on I was one of the many, very early on, and then eventually the idea of potentially do a partnership there came to us, and we got massively lucky that we got this opportunity to open a workshop and to meet the community. And it was beautiful. We met the most passionate community that, I've never had the chance to meet out there. And the workshop was brilliant. People contributed, people resonated to the idea, and some people were asking really tough questions as well. And I love that sense of passion, that there was. But eventually the workshop was just brilliant and lasted about like 2 weeks. And there was a couple AMAs and then he went to a vote, the protocol, very well early. The project passed, and that marked the beginning of our partnership with Cult, which, was for us the big first milestone. Before that, the project was all being built, between us, and we already had, a first investor and partners, but we didn't yet, announce the project. So that was really a very, very early step for us, and the idea that it happened really, really boosted us to keep building and to launch properly, and it gave us, an early community, which was really the dream for us.
So how was the workshop proposal process for you? Was everyone really tough on you?
No. I mean, there was really a mix of everything, and that's what's great about the Cult community. It is massively eclectic, and there was so I mean, I think we really got to go deep into the subjects, and there was lots of brilliant questions. I mean, people can still go through it. It's long, but you can go on the Discord of CultDAO, and you will have the Wistaverse folder there where you can follow the workshop. But no, it was amazing, and we met, amazing people, and some of our first supporters, and including Soldier, who I personally adored, and we kept talking after, and then I eventually joined the team because he's just so brilliant at what he does, and he's now the head of growth of the company, which came from this workshop proposal, which, again, this is beautiful. This is Stone Soup at its most. Is the idea of, yes, there is an idea, there is a project, and people, can get on board and not only share ideas and feedbacks, but even, join the team at this stage. So for me, that was a beautiful experience, really.
And I love the Stone Soup where CultDAO tries to be very inclusive. We want to be involved with the excellent projects that are out there.
There's one thing that I really appreciated was how democratic the process was from A to Z. That was amazing to witness as the person coming as a guest to do the proposal. The Guardians, Name Taken and Matt, they were amazing. They were exemplary. They stayed super neutral all along. They really let the community drive it and ask the question, and there was a pre-vote to make sure that the community wanted it to go on chain, and then it went on chain, and all along, I just think that was, a beautiful, exemplary proposal, and it was just a beautiful realization to see that the machine is working, and our democratic things were really the many really had a say on every single step, not just a big up to Mr. O for designing a beautiful machine.
And that's what we're hoping for. We really hope that the many all make sure to stake their cult and vote so that everyone's voice can be heard and every vote will count. So thank you for sharing that. And, I did go back and this was one of the proposals that had passed where I wasn't super involved in it. So I wanted to familiarize myself with your project more. So I went back and looked at the actual Discord workshop, and I noticed something that you said in there, and it just really resonated with me. And it says, you had said, we see the Wistaverse as a place where actual big ideas that change the world will be born. And though we will secure people's anonymity through blockchain and our platform, we are doing every single step to reassure our early community. So, that really brings me back to the manifesto where Mr. O said, beneath this mask, there's more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there's an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. So I just think that that's just shows how well our projects are working together for the same thing. I just think it's super powerful.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think, that's one of the things I really believe is that we really hope that big ideas will be born inside the Wistaverse and that big movements will have a place early on inside the Wistaverse. Because right now we're building. In January there will be the first protest, but let's fast forward 2-3 years and hopefully the Wistaverse by then is a place that people automatically go to when they can't go to a protest, etc. So we hope that we will help somehow to connect the world properly and to give them proper tools to do that, and that's one of the thing that drives us the most is what are going to be those big movements, that will be great and noble and that will need a place to organize. I mean, for example, if you look at what's happening in Iran right now, which I think is an incredible revolution that's starting now and connecting the youth and women and that, I personally massively support. We had lots of talk with them. We called people there to have an idea of how it's going and how the movement is organizing and how are the protests going along. And some of them told us something amazing. They were saying how much they think Wistaverse will have been useful right now. And unfortunately, we're not yet launched, but they're organizing right now their action through obscure video games that they know that there's no real data collection on it, that they can feel safe to talk between them. And so you can see, they have to use, they have to somehow communicate and get people to download those video games to make sure that no one is reading what they're saying and how they can organize their action. And when we talk about Wistaverse to them, the feedback was amazing, and people were saying that not only they will be using it because there's many times that they just can't do it or the protest happening is just too far from their place, but that they'll just use it constantly during the movement also as a tool where people can just talk things through and organize and plan. And right now we really build it for people to attend a protest who's already going on as an alternative. But I think that in the future there might be a case where the Wistaverse is the place where protests start, when organizers get together, get the community early on before even taking it to the street, just to really, nail down what they're trying to do and how they want to do it and get the community involved to amplify the movement. So to answer to your question, I say that and mean it every day. Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that you guys are protecting people's identity and keeping it anonymous, because that's such an important factor in being able to have the freedom to protest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, but protecting people's anonymity will come with a lot of communication about how to achieve it and how to. If you are in a zone that's dangerous, we will be actively providing content about how to access the platform without it linking it to your normal identity. And I think this is one of the things we believe as well is that in Web3 and in the metaverse, your digital identity is a concept that's growing, and most people just have a second identity online, and we just like Mr. O, for example, or even you, Oli, your Holy Heart to me, and it could be your real name, it could just be your Web3 name, I don't know. And that's so that's the idea, is like when you go to a protest, you are anonymous, less and less now. Even in the UK now, they're trying to use surveillance and face recognition in many countries. But normally you're supposed to attend anonymously and show a number of people believing. And that's something that from the DNA of what we build, that we're working hard, and we have advisors and decentralization experts helping us to make sure that, we do deliver on this. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And it's just great that you're utilizing technology to accomplish all of that. And hopefully that will become more accessible to more people as time goes on. So in the manifesto, I wanted to talk about the three pillars that we have, and that's to fight against centralization and to further the cause of decentralization, and then also to directly benefit a noble cause. So how do you think that the Wistaverse aligns with some of these tenets that we have?
I think Wistaverse aligns with all three pillars, really. We fight against this centralization in many ways. I mean, we offer a decentralized platform for people to be able to attend, but it's permissionless and censorship resistant. And also, we really believe that it's important to decentralize social action away from big corporations. That includes Twitter, that includes Meta, Facebook, whatever. That's companies, that whose business model in some way is your data, and I don't think they'll ever be credible for something as crucial as protesting. So yeah, in this sense, we do fight against centralization and also centralization of power in general, of access to protest. The fact that the people in power can decide or not if a protest can happen. I mean, this goes against democracy. I think protesting is one of the most fundamental rights to humans. So yeah, we're trying to decentralize the access to a protest. And how do we further decentralization? But we're building a process that's going to be unstoppable, that gives you anonymous access, and also, that don't have a centralized entity allowing or stopping protest. Any cause can just book one of our arenas to organize a protest for a time slot, and any cause can raise decentralized funding from their communities in donations without middlemen, without going through big organizations and during a live event that people were involved and were part of, which we think is massively important when it comes to donations. You're more likely to donate to your cause if you were at an event, if there is an incentive to understand why your money can help the cause. And we further decentralization, I mean, also by trying not to be us, the team, the entity that decides what's happening inside the Wistaverse. We're decentralizing the protocol and even the moderation, where there will be randomly selected Wista holders who offer a first layer of security when it comes to flagging certain events who don't follow the guidelines of no incitation to violence, no racism, no sexism, no spread of false information on purpose in a way of propaganda, etc. So there will be incentive for the community to flag those and then also there will be elected members of the community by the community, of course, who will have a final say as to do we postpone this protest until the organizer can prove that his intentions are good and that etc. So we'll always offer a second chance, but the community will be able to kind of self-organize within the system to make sure to protect it. So we really try to go away as much as possible from the first event and to let the platform for the users, by the users. And how does it benefit a noble cause? The third pillar, but for me, it's because we're making sure here that people who wouldn't be included right nowadays in a protest can now be a part of it. That they're not left behind, So it's inclusive in a way that it really gives access to people who just have never gone to a protest, people with disabilities, people with older people, or just people who geographically can't do it. No matter the reason why you can't, have a place to have a voice. And also, it benefits noble cause literally by offering those noble cause who will trust our platform to host their protests, to raise funding, and to have access to their community live as well, and to provide to them an event that includes them. So yeah, that's it to answer to your question about the three pillars.
Wonderful. So revolution and revolting is really important idea that the Cult DAO and the manifesto talks about. And so we also have the revolt token. And so people get paid for acts of revolt. And we do have a document which is called The Rules of Revolt. And in there it says, the power they took from the people will return to the people. So I wanted to share a passage from this, which is a quote from Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator.
Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps every time I listen to that. It's such a powerful, powerful message. And it's just such a strong reminder that we hold the power to make the changes that are needed in this world. We have to speak up and we have to fight for our freedoms and let our voice be heard, and that we need to protest. So going on further with that, I saw on Twitter some pictures and posts about an actual in real life protest in October at the Julian Assange protest in London that you guys participated in. And so I thought that was really cool. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, that was a beautiful event that we massively support, and so we went there with Soldier and with Ronan as well, who's our decentralization advisor. The event was people were forming a human chain around the parliament, and it was a beautiful event. It was really nice to go. I mean, we support Julian Assange. We support freedom of speech, freedom of the press. We hope that. If the cause is still is offering a protest from January, that they'll trust us to host an event in the Wistaverse. We've already actually contacted the Assange DAO, and yeah, once the first land is built and we're launching events, we'll really offer our services to them to make sure that when they do organize an event like this one, the rest of the world can indeed show up. That was a beautiful event, but it's true that for people who were not in London on the day, there was not much. There was just hope that the media will talk about it, and there was a website that redirected you to some of the educational content and donations, but there was no event to attend. So we hope that they will use the Wistaverse in the future. Yes, for sure.
That's great. So I think you've given us a really good summary of what you guys are about. So I'm curious, since the proposal occurred, in that the process of the way that works, we burned 2.5 ETH worth of cult, and then we sent you guys 13 ETH worth of cult. So what was that spent on?
Yeah, so when we received the 13 ETH worth of cult, so back at the time it was in late July, so that was about $14,000, which was a very small percentage of our total budget, but ended up being super, super useful over the weeks for services that we could pay directly in crypto. For example, we redid our second audit. We hired a 3D artist to work with us. Graphic designers to help us with updating our pitch deck, or metaverse builders, or just other services, lawyer consultation, etc. So yeah, it was massively helpful to have a pot in crypto that could be used to help us do all that. But again, I've said it many times, but this partnership was way beyond the 13 ETH for us. It was really a community-driven partnership, and we exchanged 2% of supply with Cult. That
That's great.
already at launch will be a lot in profit, but that we hope that it can mean great rewards as well for the many. We were really aware that this money will have a great use, which means that it will reward the members of the community and help burn a cult as well. So yeah, whatever we do all the time, it's always a win-win. But this one was really the most special proposal we've done. We wouldn't do that kind of deal with other VCs or anything. That was really a community move here too. But it was super helpful to have 13 ETH in a wallet that we could use. Yeah.
Cool. So, did you have any additional updates that you wanted to share with us?
Yeah. I mean, for those who follow us, you've heard some of them. There are some that we haven't yet announced, but since the proposal, so much happened. So since then, we have officially bought our land in Sandbox, and we have chosen our builders, and we chose Pangu, which I highly recommend you guys check. They're some of the most amazing metaverse builders you could find, and we're so lucky to have them. So they build now the first protest arena, and we see it every week grow, and we receive new images. And I mean, that's my favorite part of the project, not the protest. Sorry. And we have strengthened our relationship with the Sandbox, and again, we're super grateful with all the help we've had and all the advices we've had from their co-founder Seb Borget, who's really helped us develop and outsmart all the limitation that we could have at first and connect us, to our builders and to the rest of the team. So massively appreciate that, and that really strengthens inside the proposal we've called. We've also added
Sandbox was one of our proposals that we have partnered with.
Yes,
so I think that's really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. When I saw that proposal, I was very happy to see it. Yes. And also, I mean, the big news that again connects us massively, Cult and Wistaverse, is that Dominic Ryder from Vampire, the DDAO, has joined the team as our advisor.
We have been very involved with Vampire DAO, so that is super cool. How many projects that we are both partnered with.
Yeah, no, this is beautiful. Yeah, and Dom is brilliant. I mean, Dom is definitely a big brain and a massive addition to the team. He's already moved so much things and really, really helped us do things properly. And his advices are just on point. I mean, that was really a dream advisor. So we're super happy to have him on the team. And also since the proposal, we have added Ronan Sanford to the team as our decentralization advisor and helping making sure we build the platform and the protocol properly, and we'll make it open source, and we're being super serious about it, and so lucky to have him as well in the team. And on our side, with our dev, we've perfected the Wista token to make sure that it's fully functional and redone our audit as well. So that's what happened. And also we enlarged the team. Soldier, of course, the great Soldier, which we love so much, and incredible addition to the team. Really, his energy is fantastic. Also we've grown the 3D team and the team of the artists who are going to help us do different collection of avatars, of protester avatars. So the creative team has grown as well, and then we've been to a few events to onboard partners and present the project. We attended the Metaverse Summit in Paris, and that was amazing. Again, we met some of the best people in the field, and the project. We realized how much the project resonates. We arrived there, and we ended up talking pretty much to everybody there. And our project is one of those that will get people being like, "Oh wow, wait, where were it? I want to know more," And so that was as well a few beautiful events. Went to the Ethereum Week as well in Paris, and and we'll be going to Ethereum Denver as well, where you guys will be, and we can meet, which I'm super excited about.
We are looking forward to that. So anything that we can do together would be exciting. And I'm just very excited for your project altogether. I think you guys are doing something very unique, and it's just fits our ethos of our Cult DAO manifesto and our ideas of Stone Soup as well. I think we're a really good fit together.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, every day we are massively grateful of the support and the enthusiasm that the community is giving us. We're at seed level right now. We're building every day. The project is launching in January. The token is launching end of November. Very, very soon, at least for the community presale. And this is, the Cult community is our family. And, you know, so it's a great pleasure to be here doing that with you today, and to receive all the messages and comments we've received from Cult members. So yeah, no, this is family.
Wonderful. We think about you guys the same way. So I'm excited to see the new things that are coming out and how you guys continue to grow. So we are looking forward to continuing to work together.
Yes, 100%. I can't wait to co-host events together, and to you know, there will always be a special place for the Cult community in the project. We're already developing special avatars with Cult features for the protest, and really excited about, you know, what we are building and is Cult and Wistaverse, and there's many other projects which are doing amazing things out there, and there will be eventually a beautiful synergy, I think, and lots of great things that can be done to decentralize certain crucial things and make sure that, you know, internet is a safer place and a better place to exchange and communicate, and I think we'll keep, you know, fighting the same fight, but helping each other along the way, and I'm looking forward to see other projects that will go through the process like we did with Cult and the Cult chain and the future, and just super happy to have a small part in these and for this partnership.
Yes, that would be very exciting to have you guys build something up on our upcoming Cult chain, where we are very much looking forward to learning more about that as well. So we would love to have more innovative projects getting involved with that.
Oh, it would have been 2 months earlier. I'm telling you, we will have redeployed on the Cult chain, but 100%. I mean, that would have been great, and it's something that, you know, might be doable in the future. We don't know. Right now, we're on Polygon, just like Revolt, and it's a great place. Great place to be for the massive, how do you call that, interoperability of it, and the support that Polygon has on multiple platforms. But yeah, no, I'm just super excited to see as well what projects are going to be building on the Cult chain, and what is that going to be like.
It's all exciting, and I'm just glad that we're both working together to fight for freedom. That's what we're both about. So I want to thank you so
100%.
much for coming on our very first Manifesto Radio. You've been a wonderful guest, and I just can't wait to see what we're building more in the future.
Nice one, Ali. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much. You too, Ali. Speak to you soon. Thanks so much.